This is the KhoodeelaarTV television channel broadcasting under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo editions at 01:10 hours GMT on Monday, 21st of August 2023. Taking a look at the Fleet Street news outlets on 23rd of April 2015, the first stories after Richard Morey published his ruling against Luthu Rahman. On that date, the Daily Mirror said Tower Hamlets Mayor Luthu Rahman found guilty of corruption and removed from office. Of course, they've got this subheading wrong because the court they refer to is not the election, the ordinary court. It's a special court called the election court. So, the election court declared the independent mayor's election void because he had used religious and racial influence during the 2014 campaign. The independent mayor of Tower Hamlets has today been found guilty of corrupt and illegal practices and removed from office. Luthu Rahman's election as mayor of the London Borough of Tower Hamlets was declared void after an election court ruled he flouted or ignored the law during his 2014 campaign. Election Commissioner Richard Morey, who sat as judge, suggested that Mr. Rahman, who was born in Bangladesh, had played race and religious cards. Richard Morey said Luthu Rahman had been guilty of corrupt practices. Richard Morey said the May 2014 mayoral election would be run again, and Rahman, who had been elected for a second term in the East London Borough, would be incapable of standing in it. Rahman, a solicitor, was ordered to pay £250,000 costs and will be referred to the solicitor's regulatory authority. One of Mr. Rahman's aides, Alibor Chowdhury, was also found guilty of corrupt and illegal practices. Richard Morey began outlining his conclusions after analyzing evidence heard over several weeks at an electoral court that trial in London earlier this year. Richard Morey said Luthu Rahman had been an evasive witness and had driven a coach and horses through local authority bylaw. I'll read that again. Richard Morey said that Luthu Rahman had been an evasive witness and had driven a coach and horses through local authority law. Richard Morey added that Luthu Rahman had acted ruthlessly and had made a career by silencing critics, by claiming Islamophobia. The four voters mounting a challenge under the provisions of the Representation of the People Act. Lawyers for the group made a series of allegations, including personation in postal voting and at polling stations and ballot paper tampering. Luthuraman said there was little, if any, evidence of wrongdoing against him. That's a lie from the start. He is a liar. He lied. Lutheraman's lawyers described the group of four's claims as invention, exaggeration, and in some cases downright deliberately false allegations. Richard Morris said, the evidence laid before this court, limited though it necessarily was, to the issues raised in the petition, has disclosed an alarming state of affairs in Tower Hamlets. This is not the consequence of the racial and religious mix of the population, nor is it linked to any ascertainable pattern of social or other deprivation. It is the result of the ruthless ambition of one man. In a sensational morning at the High Court, Richard Morris said, the real losers are the citizens of Tower Hamlets, especially the Bengali community who have been led into a sense of victimhood. A gasp went up in the courtroom when the mayor was branded a liar. The judge said the mayor was not a credible witness, was evasive, and gave evidence that was demonstrably untrue. Councillor Alibor Chaudhary of corrupt practices and must leave office immediately. Richard Morey also reserved criticism for the police inaction over claims of polling station intimidation. Richard Morey said evidence presented by witnesses was credible but did not meet the level of proof required to suggest the election result would have been different. A spokesman for Tower Hamlets First said, today's judgment has come as a shock. The mayor strongly denies any wrongdoing and had full confidence in the justice system. So this result has been surprising to say the least. We are seeking further legal advice on the matter in relation to a judicial review. Well, they did do that, and several applications were made, all of which were rejected by the court in the months that followed. In response to guilty verdict, Communities Secretary Eric Pickle said, I sent in commissioners into the dysfunctional mayoral administration following the mismanagement of public money and the breakdown of democratic occupation accountability. So that is part of the story accessible online on the Daily Mirror website. And the BBC on the 24th of February 2015 said Luthuraman accused of lying repeatedly in court. That's dated the 24th of February, which is 2 months before he was ousted. Tower Hamlets Mayor Luthuraman has been taken to the Electoral Commission by local voters who want his 2014 election to be declared void and rerun. Lawyers said Mr. Rahman lied in court and over the years? Well, of course, the mayor said such allegations were not true, as his future is right here in this courtroom. Why would I lie? He asked. Luthraman has been accused of lying about his involvement in several events leading up to his 2014 election. And this piece also has that one advisor was also a correspondent for local television stations Channel S. The court heard, which Election Commissioner Richard Morey, sitting as judge, said was like a political editor at the BBC being paid by the Prime Minister. There are hundreds, hundreds of instances, hundreds of communications that our campaign put to Luthuraman during 6 calendar years. And Luthuraman lied on every single one of those. And the main courier of the communications issued to us by Luthuraman through Alibar Chaudhry. Alibar Chaudhry repeatedly and without any difference in terms of his denials always maintained that Luthuraman had the highest respect for me. But Alibar Chaudhry then admitted after the ouster of himself and Luthuraman by Richard Morey in April 2015, in effect, Alibar Chaudhry admitted that he had been lying when he said that Colin Kermack never wanted to do the right thing. Now, it is incredible that despite all of this, Luthuraman has appointed Alibar Chaudhry again as the senior administration chief. 2022. And there is a piece in the Times of Monday saying that the police fear that the mass murderer, Lucy Letby, attacked 30 more babies. And there's a piece in the I newspaper front page saying Tories tell Sunak to sack Braverman. Will he do that? And as if the judgment of King Brian in his serial attacks on Harry and Meghan has not been found to be stupid. This King Brian has now begun the process of rehabilitating the rapist, Andrew. So this has been just under 20 minutes, and we shall be ending this edition.